we'll make a start then. So, happy World Gin Day, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Yay!
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Ching ching.
I'm Kelvin Guest to Guest Wines, and tonight we're here to celebrate World Gin Day. And we're going to do it not just by drinking gin, we're going to do it by drinking gin from a couple of local producers. One is Martin from St Mary's of Whitley Bay.
Hi there.
We've got Derek and Charlotte from Pit Wheel in Wingate. So hi guys, welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Can I just check before we go any further that you all got your gin tasting packs? They all arrived, yeah? Got the right gins in there, okay? And you should have, all of you should have the miniatures of the following. You should have the Pit Wheel Original Spiced.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the St Mary's Premium Gin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we've got the Pit Wheel Raspberry and Vanilla. Brilliant. That's a good start. That's what I like to see. And you should have also got an assortment of tonics from our friends at Artisan Drinks. Yep, we've all got those. And I think we've got a little bits in, a little bit of fruit, a little bit of mint in there as well, if you want to add them for your extra added sensory pleasure out there. Right. So before we start to taste any gins, I think it might be an idea if we can get the two producers who we have with us tonight to just maybe say a little bit about themselves, how they got into gin, how they got into making it, and where they're going to go from, or hope to go from here on. So maybe I would start with Martin first. And Martin, if you could just give us a little bit of a overview of who you are and everything, and introduce yourself, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Martin Summers. It's a husband and wife team. We own Clarence Spirits. Originally, we had a restaurant, and we were trying to become and keep up with the trend of what the basically everybody wanted, and it all was the gin market. And we just came along. We thought there was a gap in the market where there wasn't specific gins where you could just mix it how you want it as a customer. You were all dictated to say, oh, this one went with this tonic, or that went with that tonic. So we decided, right, why don't we do it? So we're wanting to create a range where we could actually just do sipping spirits. Mm-hmm. So you could purely enjoy it just on the ice. And then you can actually have fun with it how you wanted to have fun. So we created St Mary's Gin in 2018. And the way we calm the spirits down is we use grapefruit zest. Grapefruit zest. I'm getting confused with the rum there. Grapefruit zest to calm the spirit down, and that takes the alcohol burn away. So you do get a slight citrus flavour into it, but that started the trail full of St Mary's range. We then produced the vodka, we then went on to the rum, and hopefully next month we're going to have a whiskey as well.
Oh, fantastic.
So we'll have the four base spirits then, but we've still got other things that's going to come out as well, and the whole range is going to be sipping spirits.
Brilliant. I look forward to trying them, and I'm sure we'll be stocking them at some point on our online shelves for you.
Definitely.
Brilliant. Thank you. And Derek, over to you.
Good evening, guys. We are Pit Wheel Distillery. My wife and myself, a small family business. We launched in May last year, right in the middle of COVID. So we are a producer, so we have a micro distillery in the house. So we converted our garage, so we're actually working from home. Brilliant. So the garage is the distillery, and all the packaging, distribution, everything is from above the garage. So everything's in house, from actual producing to putting the spirit out. So we do 4 gins. So we basically are a gin producer at the moment. That's all we have, gin. We have 4 flavors, which keeps us really busy. I was made redundant in November last year, so I was running 2 jobs while we started the business, and then from November onwards I've just been solely concentrating on the Pit Wheel Distillery side of things. my wife still works, so she works in the NHS, so she's like working in between her job and the distillery side of things.
Mhm.
So since we've launched, we've been absolutely really busy, and it's getting busier and busier.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're doing 2 gins tonight. We've got the original spiced gin that we have, and we've got the PitWheel raspberry and vanilla. However, we've got another couple of gins that we have out there. We have a classic dry, and we also have an oak aged orange and ginger. And the brand that we putting out there is our PitWheel, which is the heritage of the village where we live. And we want to just keep the PitWheel, the history going, and get everybody remembering how the industries that we used to have are starting to fade. So it's just keeping the PitWheel turning.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, and I like that. That's one of the things that attracts me about it. I like that. It was like sort of moving on to these new industries and what you were doing yourselves, and it was just a good, cool story as well. And again, your products are lovely. We love them, and obviously they're there for people to have on our online shelves. So, what I want to ask, this might be a really stupid question, but I think it's worth asking, is, well, what is actually gin? I mean, I like drinking it. I probably don't drink enough of it. Hopefully after tonight, I might be drinking more of it. I'll certainly be drinking more tonight anyway. But what is it? What actually makes gin gin?
Basically, gin. So you can't call gin without juniper. So juniper is the main core botanical ingredient for gin. So you have to have a percentage of that juniper before you can call it gin. And then obviously along with all the other botanicals which produce the flavors that you get from it. So obviously there's hundreds of botanicals, hundreds of different blending and processes within it. But yeah, so juniper is the main core botanical for gin, to call it gin.
Yeah, otherwise it's vodka.
Okay. So
yeah, definitely, yeah.
So there's a fine line then, isn't there, I suppose, and that's the side of it then.
Yeah, so basically the process, so you start with a neutral grain spirit, and the majority of producers use that process, buying the neutral grain spirit because it's much cheaper and it's less hassle to produce actual neutral grain spirit. Basically because of scale of equipment, you need massive scale equipment to produce a neutral grain alcohol. So yeah, so that's so it basically it is a double strength vodka when it comes in. So it comes in at 96%, which is a total neutral grain spirit, and then we work with that to produce what we produce to the bottle to the consumer.
Okay.
The magic.
I believe it has some history. Is it from the Dutch or something like that? Is there? There's another
Yeah.
Geneva.
Yeah,
So, but it doesn't.
Yeah, the Geneva gin is so it's like a Dutch. The Dutch basically came up with gin. Am I right saying that?
Yeah, and then it evolved into mother's room. So basically, many a woman lost.
Yeah, I've seen the history of gin, and it's got a bit of a sketchy past to it. I mean, I know now it's kind of been a sort of a very sort of a lovely tipple, but there has been times when it was a bit of a social problem in itself in this country with people.
Well, that's where bathtub gin come from.
Yes.
So people were making it in the bathtubs. It was a problem in some days.
I think it's a bit refined since then, though, isn't
it? Interesting bath you could have there. Yeah, and I believe the term Dutch courage comes. Does that come from gin, or is that Geneva? The side of it of the soldiers used to drink it to give them a bit of courage before they went out into battle. Is that right? Is that with gin, or was that?
I think it was Geneva.
Geneva, is it? Okay. Yeah, so I mean, gin to me has got this. It has got a very sort of, I suppose, it's got that nice premium, luxury sort of side to it, image to it now. You know, it's cocktails like that, but it has had a bit of a checkered past in itself, where it originally came from, and also I suppose people making their own. You know, there was had to be lots of laws, I believe, created around people because people just distilling it, weren't they, and making all sorts of hooch. But I mean, I suppose it's turned full wheel in some respects, but not in a bad way. In the fact that it's turned away from just big brands to it being really artisan and all these small producers. And people can't get enough of it, which is really good to see. And you know, and it's good to have all these local gins on our doorstep for people to actually try. And I think that's what people want nowadays. Would it be right on that people prefer this kind of local connection than just buying a big branded gin? I don't think there's anything wrong with the big brands, but I think it's nice to have that kind of local connection as well, with a bit of a story behind it, and people are making it, you know, just on the doorstep.
I think the problem that we have with the craft distilleries, obviously, up against like such as the big companies, Gordons and things like that, we can't compete nowhere near them. Do you know what I mean? So that's why the craft gin prices are at the top end of the market, because they cost so much to produce. Okay. Whereas like the big companies, they can just produce it, mass produce it, and get the prices right down. You know.
Derek, Charlotte, you know, I think what everything has happened over the last few years, everybody's appreciating more the fact that it is craft and it is local. And I mean,
definitely 100%.
We've both been in Phoenix over the last few weeks, and we followed you guys, and the feedback we got from the staff and the customers that were coming in, they were like saying how good you were and everything like that. And I think people are more wanting to support local and more wanting to help these small independent businesses now. And I think that's what everybody wants. They want the craft boutique delicatessen on the corner, and they want the craft bakers, they want the crafts where they can actually help people out. Whereas as much as you can go to Gordon's and you can go to the Bombay Sapphires and things like that, you never actually see the face behind the products.
Don't you think so? It's more of a community spirit with the small distillers. Absolutely. Because you just have that community. We're not in competition with each other. We just think that if someone likes your gin, they're going to buy your gin and they're going to enjoy your gin, and that's what we get from it. It's not money. It's not, you know, it's nothing like that. It's more to do with enjoyment.
And as you said, and as you said, you're more than happy to recommend to somebody else's gin or spirits, and it's not competition, it's we're all in it together.
And I would agree with that. And I know from wine that people are willing to pay that little bit extra if they can get something that's a little bit where it's got more provenance to it. People can see where it's come from. It's got something you know, maybe something to do with sustainability or anything like that people prefer to have than just something that's a bit faceless. Although the faceless stuff is still there, because I think there's the glugging everyday brands that people like, and sometimes you just want a glass of wine. You're not really bothered what it is. You just want wine. That's fine, you know. But I think other times people do want something with something that's got a bit of provenance to it, and that's cool. So that's good. Thank you for all that. I think we should really do some tasting, shouldn't we? Because everybody's looking at the gins and thinking, "My God, are we going to start to taste some of this stuff?" So what I've done, I've because I'm just a bit of I've two glasses. I've got one without tonic and one with tonic, just so I could compare them. But I'm going to let you guys talk through the gins, and then lovely customers out there, if any of you guys want to interject with any comments yourselves, or you get, or you like, or your experience about the gins, and then please do chip in. It's fine, you're more than welcome. Might take one or two sips more to get into it. I know from doing when I do wine tastings, it's usually about wine number 3 that people start to get a little bit chatty, and after that, then you can't shut people up. But that's all part of the tasting. So if we start off then with a Pit Wheel original spice gin, and I'm going to let Derek do a little bit of talking about this, what goes into it, what we should be expecting to taste from it would be good. And then if any of us want to join in and say what they're experiencing, that's fine. And like I said, I'm going to taste mine neat as well as with a mixer. Now, I've put in the mixer this fiery ginger beer. I don't know if that was the right move, but I'm going to try that. Ruth's also, I know she's gave us some lemons and limes and mints and raspberries, I think, in here. So any recommendations of which I should or could throw in there to make the wine a bit, the gin, sorry, a bit more complex, then please do tell me which might work. But I'll hand over to Joe now and I'll let you speak about your gin.
Hi there. I've got the Pit Wheel original spiced. So the main finishing botanicals in there are pink peppercorn, green cardamom, with a slight lime citrus. So it's not overpowered on the spices. The gins are very smooth gins, so you can drink them over ice or you can drink them with mixers. We always recommend with mixers because you don't drink gin by itself. So if everybody can have a taste of it neat first, not a mouthful, just a slight sip of it, just to get a taste of the neat botanicals and the slight alcohol burn. So you can feel that little bit of a warmth from the pink peppercorn, yeah? Do you agree? Yeah. And the cardamon's at the back of it, and then a very, very slight zestiness.
Yes, that's nice.
So if you can try just a drop of ice in now, which will bring the flavour out even more.
Yeah.
Or you can use water if you don't want to use ice.
I think it's got some nice texture to it as well. There's a nice smoothness, bit of freshness in there. The sort of peppery spices well go along the acidity nicely.
So when you actually put the ice in, you can feel it just lifts the flavour totally.
Emphasises the peppercorns and yeah.
And as you're drinking it, if you take it in through the nose as well, you can taste that. You can take that peppercorn through the nose.
I get the liminess to it as well.
Yeah.
Versatile gin.
So we drink it with different tonics. So we drink it with a plain tonic, and we also drink it with we use a Merchant Heart's ginger ale tonic, which goes really nice. But we always marry the fruit. We always use orange, because we feel orange complements it. But we also have a Merchant Heart's pink peppercorn, which also lifts it. I know you're using different tonics, but this is the ones that we use. So we're going to garnish ours. So we're going to use some fresh pink peppercorns with some juniper and a bit of orange. Yeah, and then we're going to fill the glass with ice.
Yeah, I do know that you've got the fiery ginger beer.
Yeah,
It'll work just as well with that, and it's just we haven't got that, so we're just working with what we have.
it's very nice.
Yeah, so we obviously we haven't got the same tonic, so we've just got to work with what we have. So we're gonna try it with the ginger ale tonic. So the perfect mix is obviously 3 parts tonic to 1 part gin. And drink and enjoy.
Cheers.
I think it's really nice with the tonic. It does sort of I think it amplifies the flavours in there. They spread out a little bit more on the palate, which is nice, and also it calms down a little bit of the alcoholic burn.
Yeah, burn. Yeah. It does. It flattens that down, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Problem is, it's so easy to drink. You know, you just get carried away with yourself. You know what I mean?
I'm sure. I've drunk 2 now, so I'm looking at these glasses here of spirits. So yeah, I can imagine I'm going to be quite relaxed by the end of it all. But I thought it also the ginger and the peppercorns work quite nice together. There's that little bit of spicy, slightly. I mean, the peppercorns give a little bit of a burning kind of sensation in himself, a prickly thing, and so the ginger does something similar, and so they kind of work together, and that's kind of nice. So that's really good. That's good. And
between our gin is it's a long drink rather than the sip and drink that Martin's on about with his. His is a sip over ice, and ours is sort of made to be a long drink.
Okay.
Hot summer garden nice.
So what did everybody else think to it? What do you guys think? Are you enjoying it? Is anything particular that you want to say about it?
Brilliant. My mum
with my fish and chips.
My mum is a gin drinker, but I just give mum the and with the classic tonic water and put some piece of the orange peel, and she said it's absolutely fantastic. It makes a big.
And some orange.
Sounds good. And everybody else doing?
Yeah, I would go with that lady, because I'm not a big ginger beer fan, you know, but I've only used half of the gin, so I'm going to mix another one just with plain tonic. Because, you know, I know there's some luxury tonics out there, but I'm just a very plain Indian tonic light.
Yeah. We actually have another tonic that we use with that, and it's actually a pink peppercorn. It's Merchant Hearts, and it has got a pink peppercorn in it. We work with that, and it lifts the peppercorn and it makes it a different drink, basically. They are versatile gins, and we want people to make their own turn on it, you know.
So basically what you've got is, because obviously the gin, you need the tonic. The tonic makes the gin. Do you know what I mean? You can have the best gin in the world, but if you put the wrong tonic with it, then the gin's ruined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's about getting the tonic right to accompany the gin. That's basically that's the top and bottom of it is. So what we've done is, because we worked with different tonics to our gins, we know what works. Obviously, everybody's got different palates, but we would serve this one with this peppercorn tonic, but we wouldn't put everything else in with it. We would serve with the orange, you know. So it goes really nice just on its own, just with a tonic and ice.
That's a fair point. I think it's good to get them suggestions out there. I mean, I'm sometimes a person who does like to experiment and try, and I think it's good to as well, because then you can see why things might work or not work as well when you play around with it. A bit like food and wine matching. Sometimes, you know, you can get good matches, but then sometimes you want to try something that's not supposed to be a match, just to see why that might be so, and that. But I think every those recommendations are there are good, because I think a lot of customers, when they ask for particular spirits, it's always nice to be able to give them some kind of pointers on things that may enhance that spirit even further. So that's always good to know.
Yeah.
Excellent. So has anybody else got anything they want to say on this? I've enjoyed it. I think it's really nice. I enjoyed it on its own as well, because I like spirits just by themselves as well. Everybody would find that quite a nice, pleasant little tipple.
I love surprisingly. Sorry, I love the pink peppercorn that comes through. It's really lovely, and I absolutely agree with you about the tonic. There's many a time in a bar when I've asked what type of tonic they have before I check the gin out, because if the tonic's no good, it's not worth having a gin.
And Boo Boo, the teddy there.
5 pours out of 5 from this guy. Thoroughly enjoys it.
That's what I like to do.
I'm going to be watching that one carefully, because that could be disappearing into his little hip flask.
Brilliant. And on that note, we'll go over to Martin now. We'll go and try Martin's premium gin, which we've got the St Mary's here, in this Spanish bottle here with the St Mary's lighthouse at the back. And I'll let Martin talk through it and explain to us again what's gone into the processing and what we would expect to be tasting from this gin.
Yeah, so as I was saying before, we've tried to be slightly different and break the molds from traditional gin, simply because we believe it should be served the way you want it. And from research, we found out a lot of people enjoy drinking it by itself. So I don't know if you can see on the bottle there, but mine's quite frosted there, simply because I always keep a bottle in the fridge or the freezer. So you will get citrus flavouring from it. The main ingredient is it's grapefruit zest. There is nutmeg and cinnamon in there, but not overpowering at all. So what I would suggest first of all is if you smell it, you will find you'll get a citrus flavour aroma to it. And the idea is you can actually simply just enjoy it by itself. So if you tried it just simply by itself now, with no ice cubes, you should find that it's actually smooth enough to drink by itself and not have to mix it with anything. But because you've actually tried it by itself, it will dictate what you think you can mix it with.
Mhm.
So I'll let you try that.
It's got a nice texture to it. One thing when I'm having it is quite a bit of body to it. How has it got this kind of weight to it?
Well, basically, we
Viscosity.
we use the citrus to the effect of that. Obviously, when you anybody drinks citrus flavourings, you always get the after power, and it also carries a lot of weight with regards to it. So we don't use the main botanicals that you would expect, but we use the grapefruit zest, but we also have in the background lemon peel and orange peel as well.
Okay.
So that's what actually calms it down. And then basically it's not too overpowering. And I think out of the tasters, you'll actually be able to turn around and say, well, for drinking gin, there's no harshness to it. And then if you add actually ice cubes to it and just let it cool down for just like 5 seconds, it's a completely different drink again. There's no alcohol burn. It's smooth enough just to actually turn around, and that's, I've been told, is a dangerous combination, because you can actually just drink that purely by itself, and before you know it, it's half a bottle gone.
I could see where that you're coming from with that, because it is that smoothness does make it easy, just very approachable to drink. And I was thinking, well, that's why I wondered why this smoothness about it kind of makes it silky, easy to just have with itself. And it is that's very, as you can see, it's nearly got in that glass there. So I'm getting more because I want to try it with a mixer. I've just got the classic London tonic.
Well, everybody loves a traditional gin and tonic. So if you tried that, well, as I said, the idea behind our range is you can mix it with anything you want. So if you're in the mood for a pink gin, add a citrus tonic. Mm-hmm. If you're in a pink citrus tonic, if you're in the mood for something like, I don't know, a Caribbean drink, a refreshing drink, you could add something like bitter lemon. It's you can mix it with how you want. It's really lovely with fresh orange juice as well. So you can really mix it anything. But I think everybody's got a normal tonic. So if you try that, I prefer less than 2.
Should we put ice in?
Absolutely, yeah, with ice, yes.
So what does everybody else think? How are you enjoying this?
It's surprisingly palatable just on its own, and I don't normally like gin neat because it's just far too strong. You normally get the burning sensation, and it's not such a flavourful thing, but that is very pleasant on its own, which is very dangerous.
Yeah, you can see how you could actually get carried away.
Yeah, definitely.
The danger is I've got a whole one of the whole minutes here, so and that and also to PitWheel as well. So it could be a bit of a night that goes on later.
One thing I never mentioned about the bottle is, I don't know if everybody can see, but there is actually a photograph of the actual St. Mary's Lighthouse in the background there.
Yeah,
so the actual photograph changes in accordance to the season it's batched in. So the on the large bottle and the miniature bottles there that you can see, you get the photograph within it. And what we wanted to do was try and capture the beauty of what we named it after St Mary's Lighthouse and St Mary's Island. If anybody's familiar with the Whitley area, and wanted to do with justice, so that's why we changed the picture and the photograph, so you never get the same bottle. You'll always get a different bottle each time you buy one, unless you like it that much you buy a bottle a week. You're always going to get a different one.
I don't think you'll even remember what the food they were after that, but I do. That's an interesting little note about it, because I wasn't aware of that. But that's cool to know about and to look out for, and also to be able to pass on to customers about as well. I think that's an interesting thing, and I think, I mean, I live locally and I visit the lighthouse. So I say quite frequently, just on walks and stuff. But both these products to me have got something that I'm attached to. One is this local landmark, and the other one is the story behind the Pit Wheel. I kind of like that as well. These are things that for me, why I wanted these products to sell in our online shop. And equally, I hope that connects with people as well, because it's kind of got that cool story that goes with it. And something like that, knowing that the picture changes seasonably, that's quite a good take on things. I didn't know, I just thought it was this cool picture in here, but to see it change over the year will be fantastic. The
other thing is it's done by amateur photographers, so we'll do like a Facebook competition or an Instagram competition. Ask everybody to send the photographs in, and then we'll pick a winner, and then we'll have that in their photographs. So gives them a little nudge up the photography ladder. Yeah. That's nice. That's good. So everybody enjoy this gin?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. I think it's very nice.
I wonder, can I ask, would there be any point in changing your botanicals with the seasons then, or is it just always the same?
No, it's always the same. As I say, with the concepts that we've got is the St Mary's range. We have the gin, the vodka, and the rum. Just so you can see there, it's just a little bit there. They are sipping spirits. So if you play around with the botanicals, Derek and Charlotte will tell you too as well. If you try to change the recipe too much, you get a completely different complexity on the actual spirit itself. So sometimes I think if it's not broken, you don't fix it, you know. So that's
one gin that you do, Mark.
Yeah, it's we only want to do the gin. Just the one gin, and then like I say, we've got the St Mary's range, which is going to be expanded into the whiskey. So it'll be the gin, the vodka, and the rum and the whiskey. The rum and the whiskey is distilled with grape blood orange, vanilla, toffee, caramel for the rum. The whiskey is going to be slightly different, but again, it's just so you can enjoy them by yourself, and then you can make them how you want to be. We've got
style thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah. It's because they're so subtle, you can use them for cocktails and stuff like that. And I know I tried yours as well, and the original one is perfect as well. Hats off. Really like it. But there's a lot of gins where you would turn around and say, "Can't use that in a cocktail? It's too overpowering. It takes the flavouring away." And I think the whole point of the gin revolution is to let the people at home decide how they should have it, and I think it works well that way.
Are all the gin people friends with each other then? Because there's a whole load of different people making stuff. Are you all pals, and do you kind of?
It's like one big community, really. You know, it's, we, like I say, we're not in competition with anybody. So if anybody wants advice or we need advice, you know, we've got people that we can contact within the gin industry. You know what I mean? And they're all open to offer you advice, and likewise the way, you know. So
I agree 100%.
Do you know when you make spirits, do you have to have some sort of license or something? I know nothing of it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you need We don't actually produce alcohol, so we don't need a distiller's license, but we've got a rectifier's license. So we buy the neutral grain spirit in, and then we redistill it. So you have to have a rectifier's license for that. Then if you flavour it after it's been distilled, then you need a compounder's license. So it's two different processes.
Right.
Yeah.
Complicated.
So it is. But we don't do anything after we just rectify. So we don't do any compounding side of it. So everything's done in the distillation side of it. So
you'll generally find the main people that's got this distilling license will be your Scottish whiskies, your rums. We import our rum. It's too complex a thing to try and do for us. I'm just myself and my wife, the same as these guys here that do it. So we import it. So yeah, it's we just basically we add to what we're getting. We flavour it and we make it our own. It's you know you're getting something that's just basically you wouldn't even wash dishes with, and then you're making it into something beautiful.
Do you also find that by having you do these small local products that you, as different companies, even though you're competitors, it helps your customer base because people enjoy this kind of thing that you're sort of small, you're niche, you've got something that's unique, and that kind of if somebody gets to know one producer, then they want to know the other producers. So you kind of almost work together as a community in that kind of way, rather than you directly just competed and you need those sales and you're trying to take each of the sales off one another. You know that because somebody likes that sort of craft gin, they'll go and look for other craft gins just by that fact.
You know best of all with regards to the wines. When it comes to the wines, people want to be wine connoisseurs and they want to have X amount of bottles and X amount of different stuff. And when in restaurants, you've got to have the flavors and you've got to have different types of wines for different types of meals. And I think bars, bistros, people at home, they want to have that diversity. They don't want to be. I remember growing up, gin wise, the only gin that you used to have was Gordon's gin, and that was my gran drinking it in the corner at Christmas Day. Now you've got such a diversity, and I think people appreciate that. I do think it'll calm down over the next few years. I don't think you'll have the diversity, but I think the local producers will be the ones that will keep on going. The likes of the Whitley Neils, I think they'll pull their rein back and they'll not have 10, 15 different flavours. I think they'll stick to 4 flavours. But when it comes to local, I think everybody will buy local over
have to emphasise we're dry.
Yeah.
We always emphasise with the dry gins, even though they're flavoured, they're dry, and we're not to be compared with Whitley Neil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Synthetic, isn't it? It's got a bit. We natural products, fresh fruit and things like that in ours, so we don't want to be on that shelf.
No, I wasn't using it. Sorry, is that? But yeah.
Oh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely 100%.
No, and I
think what you mean by dry gin.
Sorry, Bob. Who's that?
Can you just explain what you mean by dry gin as opposed to? I know you get.
Well, if you try a Whitley Neil's flavoured gin, you'll find it's dead sweet.
Right.
It's got a bit of a synthetic taste to it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you try, you'll find out when you go into our raspberry vanilla, you'll find out it's a dry gin, so there's no sweetness there. So it's still a dry. It's still like a London dry gin, but it's got a flavour to it.
Okay.
Like a fruit flavour. So that's the difference between
I think it's more like a chemical taste when it comes to the synthetic gins. You get it's mass produced. That's the difference. It really is the difference. And like you especially when you're doing your flavours, it's not like I'm trying to think the best way. The palate appreciates it. You can do it where anybody can just knock back Whitley Neal, and it's just like it's a syrup.
That's what it is. Yeah, yeah.
All right, okay.
And do you think?
Thanks for
Because of,
explaining it.
do you think because of the situation that we gone through the pandemic and everything, that people are looking for those local produce? They're looking for something that's a bit more well made. They're wanting that kind of side of it. So it's kind of added that provenance a little bit extra, whereas sort of the craft side, the artisan side was already on the sort of increase, but it's kind of increased further because people are thinking, well, I don't want to just get a sort of run-of-the-mill sort of branded thing with, I'd rather get something that helps local people. I know where it's come from. I get more from it. I'm putting something back into my local community. Is that something that you guys feel is being a bit
I
more?
think we've everybody has become a little bit more aware of local produce, not even just gin. I think it's using your local butcher shop and your local deli and your local fruit shop. I think that has been something that's come out of COVID. If something good has come out of COVID, I think that's what it is. And people are wanting to buy local, and I think they're looking for something different. And that's what we hope to offer.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. And I think for me as a wholesaler and retailer, that this kind of that I can see that kind of shift in people's buying behaviours. And on that, I think we should try the third gin that we've got on this evening, which we're going back to PitWheel now. So thank you, Martin, for your gin that you kindly gave us to try tonight. So we're going to try the PitWheel Raspberry and Vanilla. Again, I've got mine. I've got one neat and I've got one with a mixer in it. And I think I might even pop a raspberry in it as well, just for the extra enhancement. Please don't shout at me if you say that's not a good thing to do, but I'll put one in there anyway, just to see what happens. And I'll let Derek talk through what this is.
So we've just poured ours out. So if you can try it neat again, just a little swirl and a.
Oh, wow.
Not too much. You'll be able to get the fruit of the raspberry.
Oh, raspberries, yeah.
Bit dangerous, isn't it?
Like a new.
It's got some nice fruit to it.
And then we'll try it with some ice. Just take that burn away, just a slightness.
Oh, that's good. Who knew there was so much to gin?
How are you finding that?
I
Nice.
like that one, yeah. I hate flavours.
So what you'll find is when we
flavoured alcohol at all, but that's just different. It's almost, it's just a different flavour. For some reason, it's very, very nice. Yeah.
The raspberry seems to really stand out on it. I think what I was saying there, there's a real lift. Even like maybe the alcohol just brings out the raspberry flavours even more, and the aftertaste as well, and the finish. I'm still tasting raspberries and fresh raspberries as well. That's sort of synthetic.
So the vanilla. So we use like a fresh vanilla, Madagascan vanilla pods. That's what we use in our process. So there's the vanilla is subtle, but it smooths it out.
So we will serve it.
So if we can go with the serve now, so we would serve it with fresh raspberries.
Yeah, that's nice. Delicious.
Yeah.
Sprig of mint. Sprig of mint.
Yeah.
And we're going to use a plain, we're using Fever Tree tonic. We would recommend a decent quality plain tonic.
I've got the pink citrus artisan.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Perfect.
So what you find is when you add the tonic to it, the actual fruit flavour comes out even more.
Well, that's really enhanced the aromas. Just giving it a sniff, the aromas have really stand out.
And again, it's dangerous. It's a dead summery, dangerous drink. It's so drinkable.
Yeah.
Have to have a
And I'm
health
so
warning
jealous
or
because I can't drink it.
Sorry, Charlotte.
I'm so jealous.
And we're in Scotland tonight. We've got a big field of football fans just around the corner from us. I'm glad they know any of this.
They playing tonight, Annie?
I have no idea who's playing. I can hear a lot of shouting and screaming going on in the background. So,
How are you finding that with the tonic?
it's great. It's really
Lovely. With a plain tonic, it's delicious. But you know the extra raspberries in this, you know, the fresh sprint, lovely, very tasty.
yeah, very unique, isn't it? Like,
Actually use we have a hibiscus tonic that we use with that as well, and it brings the fruit out a little bit more and gives you that little bit of a different flavor. But we've found that people who drink gin with lemonade, which is sacrilege in my book, tend to like the hibiscus tonic.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
It's because it's got a sweetness to it.
I do think that the fruits are enhanced either. You get the fruit. I think just drinking it by itself, I was quite surprised at how much lifted the raspberries were. They're very fresh. They're there and on the palate. They last and linger after you've swallowed the gin itself. And then when you have it with the mixer sort of calms down that alcohol, but it keeps that fruit alive. It's still in there, and then I suppose the mint gives it a little bit more interesting element to it as well. It gives it a sort of side. Like herbs that go on, and I suppose that herbal side works with the acidity because you get that sort of nice freshness as well. It's lovely. It's really nice. I liked it both ways. It was nice on its own, and it's nice with the mixer. And quite a pleasant surprise because I'm not always in my mind. I'm quite prejudiced about sort of sometimes with flavoured alcoholic drinks, and maybe that's because I've drunk some of the branded stuff that's just a bit on, like you say, the syrupy sweet side, and you go, oh,
Well, it is, I think.
yeah, and you think, oh,
but that's what we've tried to.
Yeah.
That's what we've tried to stay away from with the flavored. So obviously we don't add any sweeteners and nothing like that. So like I say, everything is done in the process. So the gin comes through dry, like it would on a London dry gin, but it also brings all that fruit flavour through as well because of the maceration process within that.
Derek,
I think
what you're doing hits a nail on the head because a company like Edinburgh Gin, they're spending, I think, £6 million on redeveloping their range to turn their liqueurs into main spirits now. So rather than have the liqueurs, which are 20% and very synthetic, they are changing their whole range back into traditional gins. And I think basically proving that the market is there and you're doing it right.
That's kind of, I think, I'd agree. I think
we're developing things. We are developing in the small 5 centilitre bottles rather than doing the big bottles for everyone. And we have other flavours that have just come out today. But people are coming in looking and saying, have you got Parma Violet? I mean, I've never seen a Parma Violet, but you know, we want to put the flavours out there. And we've got blackcurrant and licorice, and we've got strawberry and lime, and we've just done a slow distilled gin, but we're putting them out in minis so people can try all the flavours and see what they like rather than what we like.
Yeah, the popular demand. Yeah.
That's a good idea because you don't want to buy, especially if it is a slightly more expensive product, you don't want to buy something that's, I don't know, £40 or £35 a bottle and then get it home and think, oh, I don't like that. And you can't always
that's why we always advise when we're doing the markets, because we've got like a really good range for our miniatures. We do like gift sets and all that, and we always advise to try the miniatures before they buy it. But that's, you know, we're not like there to sell. We'd rather them try it first and then come back to us and say, yes, that's lovely, we want to buy a large bottle. So it's not like a selling issue to us. It's a real pleasing issue. We want to please them first, so they can come back and buy it. You know, we're not there to, you know what I mean, to fool people. We're there for people to enjoy our products. Basically, that's it.
Repeat customers.
Yeah.
You want them to come back time and time again.
Definitely. That's what it's all about for us.
You bring out a new one, they'll go, I would like to try that.
And do you think that's also, because when I'm tasting these, there's a sense of what's in there, the ingredients being genuine. And again, it moves away from that synthetic side, that bit where things are added as flavours or the syrups that you spoke about, that they do taste like the ingredients. That's what you're getting. It's like if you're actually having the actual raspberry, it tastes like the actual raspberry. You're getting the actual citrus, and it is like the citrus bite that if you're going to a lime or lemon, it's there. So it's not like an essence of it, or it's something like it. It actually tastes of that actual fruit as well. And I think that's kind of an important element. Is when I'm tasting, I think, wow, that's really fresh. Everything that comes across is like they're natural rather than it being the synthetic side. And that's kind of, I think, what I enjoy about it. And
I think the problem we have at Pit Wheel Distillery with us doing we've just launched the black currant and licorice, which is absolutely fantastic. But we've done a load of research into it, and basically that's it there. And we've also we're not a flavour of coloured gins, but we've coloured the black currant and licorice as a black currant and licorice sweet. Yeah. But it's a natural colouring, so it's basically, by trade I'm a printer, so I understand all colour mixing and all that. So I understand what flowers, by macerating different fruits and flowers, I understand what combinations of colours you're going to get from it. So we've used like 2 different natural plant ingredients to get the colouring for that, which is purple, which is like, I think it matches the label.
Yeah. Can you hold it close on these?
Sorry?
Can you hold it? Yeah, you can see it now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, what you'll find is it's got like a purple tint to it, but because we've used, you've probably heard of it, the butterpea flower, which is a natural flower from Asia. By itself, it gives you like an aqua blue colour.
Right.
But if you mix a tonic with it, it goes pink.
Oh, wow, fantastic.
So we've got the same. So you've got like an acidic change with this one. So it's purple, but when you put tonic with it, it goes pink.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But we've actually getting it to go purple by adding another ingredient, another natural berry with it. So the two, so obviously the blue and the red have give you purple. So that's basically how we're getting that one. So we try to be natural and not be synthetic by putting colourings in. So everything we do is natural.
And it tastes like a black currant licorice sweet.
It does. It's lovely. It's absolutely beautiful. I wish I could taste it.
I wish you could smell it, because it smells amazing.
What would you
only
mix
produce
that
it in
with?
miniature form at the moment.
What would you mix that with?
Plain tonic. It's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. If you like black currant and licorice,
We haven't experimented with other tonics yet, but we will.
I imagine it would be really nice with Mediterranean as well, like the fruity taste.
Always will be, yeah.
We actually had an aromatic one before that we might try with it. It might be something that'll lift the flavouring again. But I mean, the smell of the gin today, when I was offering it as samples.
It's beautiful on its own, though. You know, it's just a black currant licorice sweet in your mouth, but obviously it's got the 40% alcohol with it.
Yeah.
Charlotte will have to try these when she's not on call.
Definitely, yeah. But
the situation with tonic.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, obviously it's something I'm keen to have a try myself as well. It sounds really interesting, and if it matches what we've had this evening, that would be great to have, and I'm sure we could put it on our shelves if that's something that lovely customers out there might want to try themselves in, sitting in the sunshine. So before we wrap up for this evening, has anybody got any questions they'd like to ask either Derek or Martin or both about gin or about the wine, the gins that you've tasted this evening?
I was just going to ask about tonic, because obviously there's loads of care taken by you guys to make really nice alcohol. But then, as you were saying, it does matter what tonic you have, because in my local supermarket, there's just a million different ones, and some of them are really nice. And I can actually see Fentimans out the window here. I can see our office down there. And I was going to ask, are they all the tonic people just kind of evil chemical companies, or are there nice sort of cuddly local tonic people that you would kind of have with nice local made gin? Do you know what I mean? Or is it, because it seems quite integral. I can't even say it now. I've had a couple of these.
Can I just quickly jump in on this one? It's like Derek and Charlotte agree here, is the tonic companies are going through a massive revamp, just the same as what the gin companies are. And like, for example, Schweppes just spent £5 million just reinventing themselves to get their tonics up to everybody else. But there is some fantastic companies out there that do the tonics. We use the Artisans. I know the guys at PitWheel use different ones, but it's all on your taste. Just try the tonics by themselves first of all, and see what you think about the tonics. If you like the tonics, by adding something that's really nice to it, it's going to get better. If you add a rubbish tonic to a lovely gin, you only got one answer. It's, you've got to, you cannot add good to bad and expect it to be good.
Definitely. My experience on tonics is if you can drink it by itself and it's nice, it'll be lovely with a gin.
Yeah, yes, I think I agree with that, because tonic wise, I just can't get away with all these sweet tonics and taste, ginger beer and grapefruit tonic, and this, that, and the other tonic. It's not for me. Actually, I'm just a plain tonic person, and I love a gin and tonic, and I'm happy to try all these lovely gins tonight. And I've had a vast amount of Whitley and Neal gin as well, actually, and I do love their London gin. I can't taste the difference in gins, which is what it comes down to for me. Is would I buy a second bottle?
Yeah,
I think you'll find with the Whitley Neal London gin is it is a London dry gin, so it's a totally different gin to their flavoured gins.
Yeah, so the flavoured gins
So
are
they follow
often enough, but the flavoured gins tonight have been lovely. I'm really pleased to have learned about them. In particular, the peppercorn ones, really, really lovely. A little bit of spice, but going back to the tasting, it's just personal taste, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is personal taste.
Just
all the same, wouldn't it?
just as much as tonics, it's as garnish as well. Half the time it's a garnish.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like a gin with a light tonic. I think they try too hard to knock the calories down, and it just tastes saccharine to me. I can't. It doesn't taste nice. It's sharp. It's bitter, and to me that spoils my gin. But that's my palate. Somebody else might say the same about another tonic, and it's getting that balance right. Not for me tonight. I'm not getting any of it. I'm hoping you really enjoy it. I'm sticking to teetotal one day.
I'm having your share.
Can I just say that I appreciate you doing in small bottles like this, because the tasting of them is lovely, and you can buy a couple and have a couple of gin tonics, and that's great. But and I was saying for my wine, I'm starting to buy half bottles because I'm drinking alone, and I don't. So is there any way you can do half bottles of gin, which would be economical?
What we do on our website is we have what you call a tasting set, and we sell the miniature gins, whichever ones you want in there, we can pop in there with the tonic that we think will go with it. And that's the way we sell our gins. We like people to taste the little bottles, or if we're on the markets, we like people to taste it before they go and purchase, because sometimes they'll say, oh, the spiced one, we're not a spiced person. But if they can taste it, 9 times out of 10 they'll change their mind and they'll buy the spiced gin.
Yeah.
People think it's going to be too spicy, but it's not. It's
Yeah, I just wondered if there was a price point where you could do half a bottle.
Yeah,
rather
Julie,
than...
we do.
Oh, do you? Right. Oh, wonderful. Oh,
The 20 cl bottles, so the little less than half a bottle. But
yeah, perfect.
We found, and I'm sure the guys at PitWheel will agree at some point. They say sometimes it's just that little gift present, like you need to buy a little bit more for, and you don't want to go to a full bottle. So this range is perfect for little gifts, like, you know, the teacher when you're leaving the kids leaving school, or just thank you for doing the job. And because the 20 cls, it's a perfect little bottle to try as well. So you're not.
That's very interesting. Good to know that. Thank you.
Just Julie, just come and have a word anytime. Come and have a word. That's not a problem. Okay.
No, we have discussed going in between our miniature and our full size bottle, but I keep knocking it back because it just makes more work for me. But no, we are looking at it. But at the moment, yeah,
we're only a fledgling business, really. We've only been trading for a year, so that's probably why. I mean, I don't know whether any of you have heard of us before tonight in these tasting sessions, but we are only a year old, just.
And we do have the miniatures as well, so they are. You can come and get them as well. So that's pretty cool to do. I just think what you two producers are doing is phenomenal, and it's really cool for something so local, and people can get these excellent gins from you guys. Have you, as producers, got anything that you want to add before we kind of wrap up? Anything you want to put out there or say to people before we close for this evening?
We'd like a bit of feedback on social media, if that's possible, from you guys who's been doing the tasting test.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we'd like to thank you for having a really good evening as well.
And we hope that if you've tasted the gins that we've had tonight, you know, you'll try others on the range.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's been a bit of a revelation, because I tend to find, I don't know, maybe
just spread the word, because obviously we are literally 1 year old, you know. So we're still trying to get our name out there.
Yeah, no, it's nice to try different things. And we're up in Scotland anyway, so I'll promote you up here to lots of our friends who like gin. So I'll give you a push, all of both of you. The Whitley as well, all very nice.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get some more of these nights booked and get more people involved, and hopefully have some more good nights.
Absolutely.
All down to you though, Calvin.
Well, I'm up for it, and you know, I just thank you two guys for coming on board tonight. It's been great to have you here, and obviously giving up your time on a Saturday evening to come and talk about your products. But I've really enjoyed drinking them. I think that they're fantastic. We obviously stock them on our online shop. We're happy to look at other products that either producer has that we could put on our shelves, and whether we could look at different size bottles. That's also something we could also equally look at. And you know, thank you for all you guys as well coming on board with us and drinking on a Saturday evening these fabulous gins. Like Derek said, if you want to stay in touch, then please do so. You can do that through our website, which is www.guestwines.com. You can sign up to our newsletter. You can go shopping on our online shop, where you'll find these lovely products from St Mary's, and also PitWheel are on there. So please go and have a look. You can also get the tonics, and we're also happy to put on other tonics as well to look at, see how we could explore and broaden our range out there. We're also on social media as well, and that's just a cute little baby just passing there. We're also on social media as well, so places like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll be putting a little post out this evening on our Zoom tonight, so do like it, share it amongst your friends, let everybody know, share the love out there. And like Derek said, if you want to go on PitWheel's and St Mary's social media and comment there and talk about their products, then please do as well, because these are fantastic. I think more people need to know about them. And just say thank you all for tonight. Happy World Gin Day. And I will finish. I'm going to finish now. Let you all get on with your evenings to stay safe out there.
Cheers, people.
Chin, chin.
Thank you.
Gin, gin.
Best wishes for your future and the business. Cheers.
Thank you.